That was a good drink. They say Red Bull gives you wings. And trash can's over there. I don't want to walk, see.
What are you doing? You can't just throw that on the ground.
I'm sorry, I thought I could fly away. I didn't think I was gonna get caught.
What? Red Bull doesn't actually give you wings?
It's because I'm a bad guy.
Okay guys, my name is Maya. I'm a guide here at camp, and today we're going to answer that question about what is a watershed. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds to guess. Do your best guess of what you think a watershed is. So a watershed is not a shed full of water. It is an area of land where water will drain into will move and drain into one single place. So there can be many examples of a watershed. So there could be a stream, a lake, an ocean is even a watershed. This right behind me is an example of a watershed. Water will drain into this one little area. Another way of visualizing it, I guess, would be a funnel. So a funnel will collect water from different places and then go into one single place, will drain into one single area. So those are examples of watersheds. Our watershed here, so like I said, watersheds could be streams, lakes, or oceans. The watershed we have in our area, meaning the valley, that Arroyo, Colorado, collects water from all throughout the valley and it drains into one single place, which is the Gulf of Mexico or our ocean. So those are our watersheds here at home. Now that you know what a watershed is, I kind of want to do something really fun with you guys at home. This is a way for you guys to interact and maybe do a really cool model. So a model is just a smaller way of showing something, right? So we're going to show you a model of a watershed. The things you need for this watershed are a tray. So here I have a paint tray. You could use maybe a baking sheet. Some cups, so they can be bigger, small, whatever you have on hand is fine. 4 food colorings, so that way you can see what collects in our watershed, and I'll explain that later. And this sheet. So this is like a plastic sheet that I got out of a plastic tablecloth. You could use foil or maybe even like saran wrap. Whatever you have at home is fine. And a spray bottle. So it's full of water, and this is going to be like our rain today. So when you're making your watershed, the cups are supposed to be your hills. So I'm going to put my cups down on my tray all around. They make different types of hills and valleys and stuff just to make it interesting. So I'm going to put it all over my tray. Then once I do that, so I'm going to take the plastic sheet and I'm going to place it over the cups. So these cups and this plastic sheet are ways of doing topography. So topography is the arrangement of land. So this is a way, is our model of a way of showcasing the land that we can have here on Earth. So our cups are like acting like our hills or our mountains, and these little areas towards the bottom are acting like our valleys. So once I have that sheet over, I want to like tuck it in, make sure that nothing is over the edge of my tray. That way when I put the food coloring and my water in, nothing flows out and it doesn't get super messy. It's okay to get a little messy, but not too messy. I don't think your parents are gonna like it. Okay, so the reason I have food coloring here is because out in, I guess, nature, right, things collect. And they collect in our watershed. So the reason why I'm showing you this today is because if we're not careful about how we take care of things and how we get rid of those things, it can have a negative impact on our watershed. Once we put the plastic sheet on our tray, we are going to take our 4 food colorings. So those 4 food colorings mean different things. This model is going to show you that if we don't take care of our watershed and we don't properly throw things out, then that can collect in our watershed. So the blue today is going to represent pesticides. So I'm going to see if anybody knows what a pesticide is. Did you guess? A pesticide is a type of chemical that people in farms use to keep pests away. That's the pest part of pesticides. And while that can help our food grow, that can also kind of be damaging for the plants and the other animals around it. Now the green is going to represent chemicals. So chemicals can be from anything like those weird things you might see in the factories to the Fabuloso or the pine sol that your parents used to clean. So these are chemicals. The yellow is waste, and waste is a very nice word to say poop and pee. So this is the waste that comes down through our toilets, or maybe if our dog uses the restroom, this is waste. And the last one is trash. So we're probably familiar with trash, right? If let's say someone litters on the ground, that could represent the trash here. So these four things make up the type of pollutants or the kind of icky stuff that we have in our environment that we don't want. So I'm going to show you what happens if we don't properly dispose of it and what can happen to our watershed. So let's say our farmers, they use pesticides, right? Blue is pesticides, and they really don't care. They're like, whatever, I'm just going to spray or whatever. So I'm going to put a couple of drops on our model. So that's fine, right? It's kind of isolated, or it's not moving anywhere. Then let's say we have chemicals, right? So chemicals were the Fabuloso or the pine sol, and let's say our parents just dump it outside, right? They don't go pour it down the drain. They dump it outside. They really don't. They're like, oh, whatever. It's dirty anyways. Then we have yellow being waste. So let's say your dog goes to the restroom and you don't pick it up. It's whatever, it's outside. And the last one is trash. Let's say you have a really big party and you're really tired, so you don't clean up after yourself and you leave trash all over your backyard. So as we can see, our food coloring or our pollutants or all that icky stuff is just hanging out there. It hasn't moved anywhere yet. But once, let's say a rainstorm happens, once a rainstorm happens and you get some rain, things start to mix. Things get all together. They go all different places. So I think that's enough rain for now. And you can see that like our trash, our waste, our chemicals, our pesticides, all mixed together here. So in our model right now, this could be considered our watershed. All the water and all those pollutants ended up in one single place, and that would be right here. So why do you think that's not great? I'm going to give you some time to think about it. Just remember that this is a lot of icky stuff, a lot of stuff that you wouldn't want to interact with, right? Why do you think that's not great for both us and our wildlife? So having a lot of pollutants, meaning trash, chemicals, waste, can hurt the drinking water that our animals use or the plants use to grow. It can also be really icky for us because eventually we will drink that water. What happens through these watersheds, sometimes our water plants use those watersheds to get our water that we drink, that we use. So that's also kind of gross. Sometimes when all these pollutants end up in one place, it can be very dangerous for us to drink that water, or very dangerous for wildlife to drink that water. So I think we need to be mindful of how we dispose of things. That's a way of being stewards. Stewards is taking care of something, and to take care of our wildlife, to take care of our land, and also to take care of our water. We need to make sure that when we are getting rid of things, when we're getting rid of our trash, that we put it away correctly. Because if not, things like this can happen and it can gather up. Now, while this is supposed to be a teaching lesson, I hope you had fun. It's a really cool model that you can do at home. You don't need a lot of things, and most of these things are already at home. So I hope you have fun making this model, but you also realize that taking care of our water and our wildlife and our land is super important too. So I hope you have a great day.